At about noon on Friday, July 2nd, 2021, every computer in a small town government in southern Maryland just stopped. It was the Friday before the 4th of July. Half the staff already gone for the long weekend. 19 machines ran the whole place. Utility billing, records, the daily business of a town of a few thousand people, and 17 of them locked up at the same instant, screens demanding money. The only two that survived? One belonged to an employee who was on vacation. The other had been left switched off at someone's house. And here's the part that should stop you cold. Nobody in that office clicked a bad link. Nobody opened a sketchy attachment. The thing that locked their computers walked in through the company they were paying to keep those computers safe. In that same afternoon, the exact same thing was hitting as many as 1,500 other businesses around the world. All at once, all through the same quiet back door. To understand how that happens, you have to know how a small business actually runs its computers. Most don't have an IT department. They hire it out to a local company that manages everything for them. In the industry, these are called managed service providers, MSPs, and they're the quiet backbone of small business. The people who patch your machines, fix them when they break, set up the new laptop. To do that for dozens of clients at once, an MSP uses a single piece of software that reaches into every computer it manages, remote management software. It runs in the background, always on, completely trusted, holding the keys to everything. The Maryland town's IT provider used one of the most popular ones on the market, made by a company called Kaseya. In the summer of 2021, a ransomware crew called REvil found a flaw in that tool. Ransomware, if you've never met it, is just a program that scrambles your files and demands money for the key. What made this attack different was the delivery. Normally, a criminal has to break into each business one at a time. Slow, noisy work. REvil skipped all of it. They got into the management tool itself and used its own trusted update channel, the same pipe that's supposed to send out security fixes, to push their ransomware down into every computer that tool watched over, everywhere, at the same moment. The thing built to protect those machines became the truck that delivered the attack. Through roughly 50 to 60 IT providers, it reached as many as 1,500 businesses in a single stroke. In Sweden, a grocery chain had to close 800 stores for almost a week because the cash registers couldn't ring up a sale. And here's the detail that makes it ache. That flaw wasn't some secret only the criminals knew. Months earlier, a group of Dutch security researchers had already found the exact same hole, and quietly reported it to Kaseya so it could be fixed. Kaseya was building the patch. It was nearly ready. REvil got there first, by a matter of days. The good guys were closing the window, and the attackers climbed through it just before it shut. Then came the ask. REvil didn't bother haggling shop by shop. They posted one offer, $70 million in Bitcoin, for a single universal key that would unlock every victim at once. That little Maryland town got its own smaller demand, $45,000 per computer, and never seriously considered paying. But this is where the story turns in a direction nobody saw coming. While thousands of businesses sat locked and unable to work, the FBI quietly got hold of the master key, the one that could free all of them, and they held on to it for nearly 3 weeks. They were setting up a secret operation to take down REvil for good and didn't want to tip the gang off. So the key that could have ended the nightmare in an afternoon stayed in a drawer while small businesses bled. The takedown never even happened. REvil systems went dark on their own first. The FBI finally handed the key over in late July. The people behind it didn't all get away. One of them, a young Ukrainian man named Yaroslav Vasinski, an affiliate who ran REvil's ransomware for a share of the take, was arrested that October trying to cross into Poland. He was extradited to the United States, pleaded guilty, and in 2024, a Texas court sentenced him to more than 13 years in prison and ordered him to pay $16 million in restitution. Prosecutors tied him to roughly 2,500 ransomware attacks and over $700 million in ransom demands. He was 24 years old. Now bring it home, because this is the uncomfortable part. That town did everything a responsible organization is supposed to do. It handed its computers to professionals so it wouldn't have to worry about them. And that decision is exactly the door the attack came through. So why did that little town come out the other side okay? Not because anyone paid the ransom, because they could rebuild. They had backups the ransomware couldn't reach. So $45,000 a computer got a very easy answer: no. So here are the two things actually worth doing this weekend. First, own your own backups, not just the ones your IT provider keeps on the same system that could get hit, your own copy, kept offline or in a form that can't be quietly deleted, and tested at least once so you know it really restores. That one habit turns a ransom demand from a catastrophe into a bad afternoon. Second, ask your IT provider 3 plain questions and get the answers in writing. Do you require 2-factor login on the tools you use to reach into my computers? Is my business walled off from your other clients so one break-in can't sweep us all up together? And how fast do you patch? And what's the plan when something goes wrong? A good provider will be glad you asked, because here's the whole lesson in one line. You can outsource the work, but you never outsource the risk. It's still your business that goes dark. One ordinary Friday before a holiday weekend, a town that never clicked a thing, locked out by the very tool meant to keep it running, alongside 1,500 others who trusted the same quiet pipe into their machines. Someone holds a master key to your business right now, the company that manages your computers. That's not a reason to fear them, it's a reason to ask. So this weekend, ask the questions that decide whether that key ever gets turned against you, and make sure you've got one backup they can't touch. Breach Brief breaks down one real attack and what it actually costs every week. Subscribe and stay a step ahead. This is general education, not legal or financial advice.